Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 at Swing Big, a group focused on reawakening and redefining masculinity, a group that's ready to step up to the plate of life and to swing big. Last week, we started a dialogue about how we define masculinity. What is it that separates a boy from a man? I also asked you to reflect on who you see in the mirror, whether it is a boy or a man. So let's jump in there. I'm sure if you ask most males over the age of 18 if they were a boy or a man, they'd quickly reply they're a man. At 18, you're an adult in the eyes of the law in many ways, and you have to be a man, right? But for the sake of conversation, let's remove age from the equation. Now what do you feel like? Do you feel like a boy? A man? Or do you feel like a boy hiding behind the image, the mask of a man, maybe even the responsibilities of a man? Personally, I feel like I float somewhere in between the two. I have days where I feel very much a man. A couple weeks ago, my father-in-law and I spent the day cutting firewood and using the tractor to haul the wood back up to the barn. We're so energized by the chainsaw, the risk of felling trees, the smell of diesel that we didn't even take a break for lunch. Being on our feet, solving problems to safely cut and haul the wood, using our strength, all of it was enough food, enough fuel for our bodies to keep going. But then I have days, a lot of them, where the highlight reel would look something like this. Wake up, make breakfast, get the kids to school, go to work, pick up the kids, scramble to make dinner, get the kids to sleep, clean up, and then go to sleep. I see my wife throughout the day as we try to keep the wheels on the bus, take care of my kids, drive the truck, work the full-time job, do all of these things that seem to be indicators of masculinity, but I can still go to sleep feeling unfulfilled, insecure, and very much a boy in a man's life. In a podcast with Jocko Willink and Jordan Peterson, the two discuss the subject of masculinity and what it means to be a man. The two of them come to the conversational consensus that a man is dangerous but disciplined. Jocko describes how in a Best Man speech he realized his own masculinity through learning to fight, going into combat, and getting married and having kids. I really like this as an indicator of modern masculinity today. There's an element of primal aggressiveness in fighting in combat, being dangerous, but it's controlled dangerous, a disciplined dangerous, a dangerous that knows its boundaries, its responsibilities, its capabilities, and leverages them appropriately. It's not macho men going around picking fights, it's quite the opposite. It's leveraging the strength, the dangerous capability to be a husband and dad, to serve a purpose greater than oneself. So here we have Jocko, a skilled fighter and veteran who didn't find a seat at the man table until he got married and had kids. Quite different than the wannabe masculine bullies who pick fights, abuse women, and ultimately give masculinity a bad name. A man is dangerous but disciplined, not just dangerous. So let's answer it a different way. Let's circle back to the question. What is a man? My friend Scott shared with me the best definition I've come across. It's from Robert Lewis. A real man rejects passivity, accepts responsibility, leads courageously, and expects a higher reward. To continue stealing from my friend Scott, he says, the reason that I think the definition works well is it's not something you complete. It's not something that you either have done or haven't done. You can't just once and for all time reject passivity. You can say, that's it, I've had it, I'm forever rejecting passivity. But most likely you'll face it again someday. The defining characteristics are all active. Rejects, accepts, leads, expects. This means it's an ongoing process. In each decision and in each relationship, you can ask yourself, what am I doing or not doing that's in line with being a man and not a boy? So, a real man rejects passivity, a real man accepts responsibility, he leads courageously, and he expects a higher reward. Over the next 4 weeks, we'll dive deeper into each of these attributes or characteristics to further clarify. We'll see if we can bring them from words to examples that we can apply in our daily lives. So one question this week to set the framework for next week. What does rejects passivity or rejects being passive mean to you, and how do you apply it in your life? Again, what does rejects passivity mean to you, and how do you apply it in your life? Well, that's all for this week. Thanks again for joining us here at Swing Big. Please add your thoughts on this video in the comments section and subscribe if you'd like to be part of this conversation as we continue to gain traction. We will realign our sights to be dangerous but disciplined, to become a walking example of modern masculinity, and to swing big. Thank you.